No one saw this coming. McLaren, one of the top teams this season, could be facing a serious challenge right around the corner. As the Barcelona Grand Prix gets closer, tension is building, especially with a new rule adjustment set to take effect. Many insiders believe this update might pull the rug out from under McLaren's current momentum. Red Bull, in particular, has high hopes that this will close the gap significantly. The question is, will this actually tilt the balance? Max Verstappen, now locked in a close points race with Piastri and Norris, has just 22 points to make up, and with Norris standing between him and the top, the pressure is rising. Barcelona isn't just another race weekend. It could completely shake the standings. That's because new limits on front-wing setups are coming into play. Something teams have either been relying on or accusing each other of exploiting. While many expect McLaren to struggle, Red Bull thinks they're finally in a position to climb. Red Bull's confidence isn't just based on guesses. Their recent upgrades, introduced in Imola, have already shown promising results. The improvements have helped Verstappen feel much more in control of tire wear, a problem that haunted the team in earlier rounds. That alone could be a major turning point. A smoother ride and smarter energy use can mean everything in a close race. Christian Horner has made it clear that this new regulation isn't just a small tweak. According to him, this isn't about minor balance shifts. It could change how all cars perform on the track, but the unknown lies in how much it'll hit each team. Will McLaren manage to keep their edge, or are we about to see a sudden drop in their pace? Overtaking in Imola isn't exactly easy, thanks to its narrow design and technical demands. Still, Verstappen managed to stay close to the McLarens, showing just how much ground Red Bull has made up. That comfort behind the wheel is all the Dutchman needs to be dangerous again. What stood out in Imola was Max's ability to keep the pressure on without falling behind, a strong sign that his car finally suits his style again. We've seen in the past that he doesn't always need the fastest machine to stay in the championship fight. Red Bull may have finished third in the constructors' standings last year, but Max still took the driver's crown with authority. That tells you everything you need to know about how dangerous he can be when he's comfortable. McLaren, meanwhile, isn't blind to the shift. Even Lando Norris admitted things didn't go their way in Imola. According to him, the Red Bull was simply quicker, not just on raw speed, but also in how it handled over the course of the race. What was once McLaren's biggest strength, tire management, seemed to vanish. Their car, which performed beautifully just 2 weekends ago, suddenly looked shaky under pressure. That sudden shift in form has raised a lot of eyebrows. Even when stacked against Ferrari, McLaren didn't show the same edge they were expected to. It's led many to believe that once the teams arrive in Barcelona, the conversation might completely change. Ferrari's own boss, Fred Vasseur, hinted at something similar. He mentioned that with everyone bringing new front wings to meet the revised rules, we could be looking at a full reset in how the grid performs. The focus now turns to whether McLaren has been benefiting from something that skirts the edges of the regulations. Teams like Mercedes have already been under scrutiny for front-wing flexibility, but McLaren's design is also being questioned. Some suspect that their performance isn't just about clever car setup. It might come down to how they're managing braking and tires. And if that's the case, technical rules alone might not be enough to pull them back. With the deadline closing in, McLaren has had time to make changes, but there's still doubt about whether they've addressed the issues that sparked all the noise. Some believe their strong performance in slow corners comes from extra flexibility in the front wing, helping with downforce. But others argue that the real gains are happening under braking and through tire control, areas where technical rules have less immediate impact. Christian Horner, along with Helmut Marko and Verstappen, seems increasingly confident. Since the upgrades introduced in Imola, Red Bull feels they've placed their car in a better range where performance can be pushed without compromising tire temperatures. Horner pointed out that when sliding was reduced, the entire balance improved, especially across longer stints. In fact, during the first stint in Imola, Max was managing tire life better than his rivals, and still managed to pull away. On Friday practice sessions, McLaren still looked very quick, especially on the longer runs. But in the race, Red Bull's pace was noticeably stronger, perhaps the best since last year's Brazilian Grand Prix, which was held in wet conditions. That's when we last saw a similar gap. The real game-changer, though, was the technical directive issued just before the race in Imola. The FIA changed the rules around tire cooling systems. Teams are no longer allowed to use water or special materials to keep tires cool during the race. These so-called phase-changing materials, or PCMs, were thought to give McLaren an edge in managing tire temperatures. With that advantage gone, their dominance suddenly dropped, at least at Imola. Red Bull's team has been quick to point out that McLaren's tire management boost might have crossed a line. While it sounds surprising, there are talks that the MCL39 might have integrated PCMs into its brake system. These are tiny tubes filled with metal alloys that melt at certain temperatures, helping control heat during intense braking, something crucial on tracks that push brakes to their limits. If true, this technology would protect tires from overheating, allowing McLaren to maintain better grip for longer periods. But McLaren's official stance, led by Andrea Stella, is to downplay these claims. He says the focus of their rivals on such allegations actually helps McLaren by distracting others from their own issues. Andrea Stella seems to welcome the extra attention from rival teams, believing it's a sign that McLaren's competitors are more focused on trying to catch them than improving their own cars. According to him, if these controversies keep coming, it only means McLaren is doing something right, forcing others to chase shadows instead of progress. Looking ahead, the rest of the season promises to be intense. McLaren has two talented drivers, who won't give up easily, making it tougher for Verstappen and Red Bull to dominate without a fight. While some hope for a season like 2021, when a clear number 2 driver was part of the team, that's not the case here. Both McLaren drivers are hungry and ready to push. With all this in mind, the upcoming races, starting with Barcelona, could change the story entirely. Will Red Bull close the gap? Will McLaren's edge fade? Only time will tell. For now, all eyes are on the track.